Are you on? Really hope you are. And you are. Perfect. Hey guys, what's up? So today I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little makeup tutorial kind of thing. I'm all ugly, makeupless face, so I have my stuff. I use a bunch of different stuff for different things, so let's get started.
Okay, the first product that I'm going to be using is the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous Liquid Concealer, which I'll show right here. And I use the shade Light because I do have pretty light skin, and first thing I'm going to do with it is apply it under the eye, because in the morning when I wake up I do notice that I have pretty dark circles around my eyes, so I just like to use a pretty thick amount of it just to make sure that I have enough to cover up the darkness and the redness, you know, just make my eyes look pretty, what's the word, not so tired. And then after I apply it under my eyes, I do like to apply a little bit above as well. Next, I'm going to be taking my beauty blender, which is the Therapeutics Precisso Beauty Blending Sponges. And I got that from Kohl's. I got a set of 2 for only $10, which is pretty cheap. So if you need a beauty blender for pretty cheap, go to Kohl's. And then as you see, I'm going to be dabbing it over my eye and around, just making sure I'm blending it really good. The term that I've heard used for dabbing it like that is pippling. And no, I did not say nippling with an N. I said pippling with a P. And I heard this from Ellie Meekum from Ellie and Jared. And that's just what I'm doing. I'm just dabbing it over my eye, making sure it's pretty well blended. And I'm taking the tip of it just to kind of run across my eye, just to make sure it's pretty well blended by my eye as well. And then next I'm going to be taking the concealer again and just dabbing it over my acne marks, acne scars, any pimples I may have, just to make sure that I get everything covered up. And I'm going to be going back with the beauty blender and just pippling it again and blending it all in very well. One thing I do like about using the beauty blender is that it is pretty good at blending it in. You know, it doesn't thin out your makeup too badly, and it keeps the coverage pretty good. And that's one thing I like about it, because I've tried using like my fingers to blend in makeup, and I have tried just kind of using brushes, and just altogether it's just not very good at keeping a good amount of foundation on anything I'm trying to cover up. And the beauty blender is, like I said, pretty good about keeping really good coverage and not thinning out the makeup. So if you're able to get a beauty blender, I definitely recommend it. Like I said, I'm pippling it around my face again, where I've added more concealer, just to blend it in really good. And because sometimes the acne marks won't completely be covered up after doing that, I like to apply just a little bit more concealer where I feel is most needed, because there are some acne scars that I have that are darker than others, so it doesn't completely cover up the first time. And then I of course forgot a spot on the top of my head. So I'm going to go back and do more blending, pippling, and just cover up those last minute things. Okay, once I'm done with the concealer, it looks pretty covered up, if you can see. And next I am going to be moving on to my liquid foundation. I use CoverGirl truBLEND liquid makeup, and I have the shade, if you look on it, it's L2, and looking on the back label, the color is Classic Ivory. And I use 3 pumps of that on my hand, and that's a pretty good amount to use whenever I'm using it on a daily basis, of 3 pumps. And the next thing I like to do with it is I'll just take my finger and I will just dip it into the foundation, and I'll just start adding spontaneous dots all over my face. And I do say spontaneous just because I'm not putting the dots over top of anything like specific as far as like my acne marks or anything. It's just the kind of spread out the foundation, you know, making sure I completely cover my face and that I have enough for all areas, you know, including like my cheeks, my forehead, and then I'm going to be putting a little bit on my eyes as well. And like I said, just to make sure that I have enough dots like to cover up my entire face, because I will be blending this all over my face. And I will have like a teeny bit extra left over, so I'll just make sure I pick it up with my finger and just putting it in random spots, making sure that I use up every last bit of my foundation. And I'm going back with my beauty blender just to blend that all in and get it all over my face. And at this part, I like to notice that my face does look really well covered up and pretty flawless, which I like a lot. And yeah, so like I said, I just pipple again and make sure everything is well blended. Once I've kind of gotten close to the end of blending, I like to take like around my face, you know, making sure it's pretty well blended, like by my ears and everything. I'll take that fine point and run it under my eye again like I have done before. And then also I'll do like a little bit of dabbing and blending, and even under my chin too, making sure it's pretty well blended into my neck. You know, just make sure it's like doesn't like a strict fine line of where the makeup ends, because there is a noticeable color difference. Not too bad. Next, I like to use the CoverGirl truBLEND Mineral, and it's a loose mineral powder, like I said, and it is the shade Light. And I usually like to tap it and make sure I get a lot of powder in there to use. And next, I'll be using this powder brush, which I got at Rite Aid, Renewal powder brush foundation. Or powder brush, I mean. And it's pretty soft. I do say so myself, it's pretty soft. And I'll just be taking that and picking up some powder. I'm just gonna lightly brush it over my face, you know. I kind of like to use it as just to set my foundation and make pretty, yeah, like I said, pretty well set. And then also because, you know, it takes away the shininess and just makes it look a lot nicer. I got some on my shirt. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be using is a makeup kit that I got from Claire's. That's literally what it's called, the Claire's makeup kit. And what I'm going to be doing now is I am going to be taking the darkest brown color that is on the palette. As you can see right here, it's third from the left. And I'm going to be using that for my eyebrows. So I'm going to be using this angled brush that I have right here. And I'm going to be using that to go on my eyebrow and just to kind of fill in my brows, because if you haven't noticed in my previous old videos, I am a natural blonde. And because my hair is darker now, I have to fill in my brows and make it match my hair color so it doesn't look weird. So like I said, I just take the angled brush and just kind of use it to fill in my brows. And I just kind of go around the shape of my eyebrow and then use my finger to kind of run it like on the top and bottom of my brow, just to make sure it's pretty well evened out and not too rough looking, and just make it look nice. And then there are my brows. Okay, the next thing that I am going to use now is my eyeliner, and I use Maybelline New York's Master Precise by Eye Studio. And I use that, really, I just use it on the tops of my lid. I don't like to go on the bottom of my lid at all, around my eye, just the top. And I'll apply a very thin line above my eye. You know, nothing too thick, because sometimes whenever I make the line too thick, it'll like to smudge like above my eye whenever I'm like opening or closing my eye, and it just gets all messed up all the time. So I just apply a thin layer above my eye, just like that. And then, of course, I'll do it on the other side. Now, if you notice, I'm also stretching my top lid, not like painfully stretching it, but just kind of to help make the line of my eyeliner nice and neat, you know, because sometimes I'll try to use the liner without doing this, and I just completely mess it up all the time. So I just kind of stretch out my lid a little bit, and sometimes it'll go a little over. So I just take my finger and just to kind of use it to get rid of the marks. Okay, next I'm going to be using my eyeshadow. Sometimes I do eyeshadow before liner, but I kind of forgot in this video. So I'm going to go, I'm using Sephora eyeshadow. I have a custom made palette that I got from the store. And looking at the shade, there isn't really like a specific name that I saw on the shadow I'm using. On the bottom of it, it just said number 47. So if you are looking for it, it's number 47. It's like a glitter eyeshadow, and it's kind of like a tannish brown kind of color, and it matches with the tank top I'm wearing, which is why I'm using it. Alright, next I'm going to be using my mascara. And I am using the ALMAY One Coat Triple Effect Mascara. And the shade that it's in is Blackest Black. If you haven't noticed, my eyeliner is also Blackest Black. I forgot to mention that. So I'm just going to be applying this mascara on now. I just kind of blink as I'm applying it, just because it kind of helps. And those are my eyes. So I'll get some mascara on the top of my lids sometimes. So as you can see, I'm using a Q-tip just to kind of get rid of those mascara marks I got on my eyelid, and just to kind of clean it up. And then I'll go back with my eyeshadow just to kind of fix where I cleaned up the mascara. So those are my eyes. And the next thing I'm going to be using is lipstick. And I use Maybelline lipstick. And this is the shade number 155, and it is Party Pink. And what I do is I kind of make a little heart in the top of my lip first, just to kind of use as a guide. And then I'll go in and fill out the rest of my lip line. And I do that just because sometimes I'll mess up with the corners of my eye when I'm doing my lipstick. And of course, going under as well. And then nothing specific. That's something girls always do with their lipstick, is rub it in really good. And then I'll go back with my finger and fix any smudges if I want to went over a little bit more. Next, I'm going to be using a lip gloss that I had gotten from AVON. And this is the Glazewear Sparkle Lip Gloss, like I said, from AVON, and it's the Shimmering Bronze color. And because this sweater I'm wearing is like a purpley pink color, but it still has a little bit of like a brown in it too. So I'll just take this lip gloss just to kind of put over top of my pinky lip gloss. And that kind of helps blend the color and make it look like the right color. Next, I'm going to be using my bronzer. And it cut out in the video. I apologize. I'm going back to the Claire's makeup palette that I used before. And I am using the third powder that they had on there, which is their bronzer. So I like to take that, make my little fishy lips like I'm doing now, and I just kind of like to highlight under my cheekbone and just kind of blend that out really, really good. You know, so it's kind of like putting on blush, but because it's like under my cheekbone, it's kind of accentuating that and adding contour to my face. Just to kind of help blend it in a little bit, I like to use my fingers just to kind of gently run across my face, make sure it's not too much or anything. And that is my face, and excuse me using my towel just to wipe this all off my hands. And that is my makeup. As you can see, all nice, pretty. This is just a typical everyday makeup. So I hope you liked it.
Alright, so that was my first makeup tutorial. I know it seemed kind of weird, maybe, but it's just something I thought would be kind of fun to do. So leave in the comments below, do you like my tutorial? Is it okay? Did you like the products? Are there other products that you like to use? And just so you guys know, I am not sponsored by anything that I use at all today. At all. Obviously, I'm not a big YouTuber, so nobody knows who the heck I am. Those are just all products that I like to use. I'm not sponsored by anything. I'm not getting paid for anything. Those are just products that I like and that I wanted to share with you guys. So thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Comment below, like I just said. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And that's all for today. Peace. Bye, y'all.